Happy Monday. We back.
Happy Monday. How's everyone doing?
Dude, I'm well. The weather warmed the hell up, Maddie.
I'm excellent.
You know, we're here. We've got the windows open. It's springtime. It's April.
It's amazing. I had a pole vault meet this week and it was warm. I got sunburnt the crap out of my face. It was not fun.
Why'd you have crap on your face?
Just sunburnt.
Probably a bird.
Sunburnt the crap out of my face.
Well, why was there crap on your face to begin with?
There wasn't.
You doubled down on the same phrase, so I had to double down on you.
I just got sunburnt on my face.
I got you.
Yeah.
And the sun burned on my face.
Is that a song or something? I don't know.
Never heard it.
But you know, we're back, and we've got a pretty exciting interview. We haven't brought our TANY folks an interview in quite some time. We've been working on a couple people. I know we've still got a couple people we want to bring on, but we kind of had a spur of the moment opportunity to bring somebody that has gone viral over the last several days.
This was a big one. This was a big interview that we've got.
It was, and it was
credit to you for reaching out to them, and credit to them for wanting to come on with us.
Oh, absolutely. All the credit goes to them. They have been so great with talking through, staying in communication with me. I know they've been doing a ton of interviews over the last about 48 hours with news stations. I know they said Washington Post, New York Post, Chicago Times.
I think they said something about Houston or Dallas.
They were talking to Dallas too, just to name a few. Very, very excited to be able to bring you guys this. A little bit different from anything we've brought you before. But with that, we're going to get in that interview here in a little bit. But
Make
in the
sure
meantime,
to stay tuned because that's coming out later.
Damn straight. But in the meantime, we are digging into some topics, and Mike's got his K-State basketball jersey on, and we're getting ready to talk a K-State family right out of the gate. We're talking Snyder family.
We are talking Snyder family. We didn't talk football at all last week, so I figured we'd bring a little bit of football back into it. You know,
it's timely. It makes sense.
It is. But Sean Snyder, Bill Snyder, longtime coach for the Kansas State Wildcats, the best coach that had ever coached at K-State.
Revitalized and changed the program and the history and the reputation.
Before he took the job
K-State
back in the
was
1980s,
a laughingstock.
They were talking about cutting the football program.
That's right.
So because of Bill Snyder, K-State still has football to this day. They ended up naming the stadium after him. It's Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Well, Sean Snyder, his son, who was a longtime assistant coach for K-State, ended up taking a job with K-State's rival, KU.
It wasn't immediately after his departure from K-State. He's bounced around a little bit since he left. He spent 1 year with Coach Kleiman.
Yep. It was a few years after, but still, like, as a K-State guy, to see a member of Bill Snyder's family go take a job at KU, your arch rival, your arch nemesis, and it's not even like a great job. It's not like he took the offensive coordinator job or he didn't take the head coaching job. He took the assistant, basically what was
special assistant to the head coach.
Special assistant to the head coach, but what I think of as the assistant to the regional manager, a Dwight Schrute type of position with KU. So
body bagging.
Like, dude, what are you doing? You're literally not going to be able to step foot in Manhattan for the rest of your life because if someone sees you out and about on the town, like, people are gonna, rib on you for this. They're gonna rib on you hard.
They will if they know him. They will for sure. I
just don't know what his thought, and maybe Adam, being an unbiased person, can talk to a little bit about this. But I just don't know what his thought process was going into accepting and taking this job at KU, because you grow up, Bill Snyder's son. I know he left K-State not on the best of terms because Bill Snyder wanted him to be the head coach. Sean Snyder wanted to be the head coach. K-State wanted to go in a different direction. Brought in Kleiman. Kleiman ended up letting him go after a year or so.
Did he let him go? So I was reading up on this. So to that point, I don't know that he let him go. I
think it was a mutual departure.
From the story I read, he wanted to go with Helton in USC.
Yeah.
Because he went to USC immediately afterwards. Then he wound up with Bielema at Illinois, which is where he's coming from now.
Right.
The article I read, because I wanted to dig into this, when I saw that you wanted to talk about this, I did a little bit of research into this. I was like, okay, what was the status of the departure? What was the feel of it? Admittedly, I didn't read a ton of articles on it, but the article that I was looking into did not indicate that it was Kleiman's decision. It indicated that it was Sean Snyder's decision.
Okay.
Maybe it was more mutual. Maybe it was a, hey, Let's agree to part ways. I can imagine, just devil's advocate, Coach Kleiman, that's a little tricky because you've got a guy, you're coming in, you've been chosen as the heir apparent, despite the fact that Bill Snyder wanted Sean Snyder to be the heir apparent.
Right.
The K-State administration, I mean, they felt strongly enough, despite the impact and presence that Bill Snyder had had on that program for decades.
Yep.
They felt that Chris Kleiman was the heir apparent.
Yes.
And when I say heir apparent, he wasn't with K-State. He was with what, North Dakota State?
South Dakota State.
South Dakota State.
Yep.
Thank you. You know, I see it from both sides. And initially, when I saw you bring this up, I was like, "This." I was skeptical.
Like, why are we talking about this?
I was like, "This feels like a homerish topic," and everybody knows that I give Mike shit for being too much of a homer. As I look more at it, I get it. I think long term, I think this is something that if Sean Snyder leaves KU in the next year or two to take another assistant job somewhere else, I think you have a ground to stand on. I think there's two ways that he is vindicated in this decision.
Okay. What are those two ways?
Well, 2 to 3. The first is if he goes somewhere after this and takes a head coaching job.
Right.
If this is that stepping stone that absolutely propels him to that head coach level, might not be a top 5 conference team, but a head coaching position, I would understand that.
Okay.
If somehow hypothetically Snyder. No, not Snyder. Head coach Leipold. Head coach KU. If he were to leave, obviously, if he has another year that continues on the progress that he made with KU this year, he's going to be in the conversation for some good coaching jobs.
He could be. He just signed a long-term extension
That's
with
great.
KU, though.
That's great money talks. And KU's program for football doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
If an SEC school comes calling,
right.
if a Texas, if an Oklahoma, if a USC, if whoever, if one of those programs that has a lot of booster money comes calling, he's going to have to listen.
I hear you. I hear you.
And maybe the idea with that is Sean Snyder is the heir apparent in Lawrence, hypothetically.
I could see that.
And I get that wouldn't change your opinion as a K-State diehard.
Right.
He's still a traitor. I get that. But from a professional standpoint, the one other thing that I thought about is he's been working in Illinois. If his whole family is still in Manhattan,
it brings him closer to home.
I can't imagine that he moved his family out to LA when he worked at USC,
right.
And now he's moving his family back to Central Illinois, and then he's like, all right, like, they might be, and I don't know what his family status is. I don't know kid's wife. I don't know what that looks like, but I know obviously his father and his mother are in Manhattan, and they ain't going anywhere.
They are not.
And I would guess the majority of the rest of his family is in Manhattan.
Well, I will just tell you, the K-State fan base is a little bit irate about this.
I get that.
Because
I get that.
Of the way Bill Snyder was, and then how his son, who it seems like he's just being a little vindictive about the way things ended at K-State. And I think it was a mutual departure. I think Kleiman didn't really want him. Sean Snyder really wanted to go do something else. But if Sean Snyder wanted to become the head coach at K-State, what he needed to do was leave a couple years earlier, go prove himself as a head coach at a smaller school, and then come back and prove himself at the smaller school by winning.
Question.
Okay.
And this is, I know we've got to move on to the next topic here. Question with that. Do we know if he had any offers for a head coaching job?
I don't think he did. And I think that's the thing. I think that's what the fan base was wanting, was to see that he could actually prove himself as a head coach, and no one wanted to take a flyer on him.
If the job ain't there, there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
So fair enough. But again, I think we watch that status over the next 1 to 2 years, because I think something's going to happen with that. I don't think that job is the end game for him with whatever his decision making is. That might be a short play and a long-term play.
I see that. But moving on to something else that's going to be happening this week, we got the Masters coming up. We got the boys heading down to Augusta. They're going to
tradition unlike any other.
Unlike any other. The boys are headed down to Augusta. They're going to play some great golf. We got some big names coming back in this tournament here. We got Tiger Woods. You got Rory McIlroy. You got Scotty Scheffler.
Tiger's confirmed.
Tiger's playing.
Okay.
Yep. Tiger's going to be playing. He's not one of the front runners to try and win it, but
he won it 3 years ago. 4 years.
I think
4
years
sorry,
ago.
4 years ago. COVID, it got canceled.
Yep.
Well, it got played in October. I take that back. Tiger won it in 2019. That was electric. Was it Scotty who won it last year?
Scotty won it last year. So that brings me to my next point. I just want to talk about my big play winners that I think are going to, the two shots that I think are going to win this, and the way I'm going to bet this is probably a good amount of money on two players. I'm going to put it on Scotty Scheffler. And
Wait. I got to stop you there. Good amount of money. Did you come into some money recently based on some betting?
I did. I had a good time up at the casino on Saturday with the boys. I may have hit a jackpot on one of the slot machines. Won some good $5,000. So,
well, that's a big old win.
it was actually $5,600. But
And I thought you were exaggerating it, not sandbagging me.
no. So
Sandbagging son of a bitch.
But after taxes, I mean, they got to take taxes out. So I ended up only walking away with $3,600 in cash. So
all right.
I had to take all the taxes out. I didn't want to deal with that.
That's
at the
the right
end of
way
tax
to play.
season, so.
That's right. The right.
But yeah, getting back to golf, I'm betting Scotty Scheffler. I'm betting Rory McIlroy. Those are my two big hitting players right now. Rory's won it before. Scotty won it last year. Rory can hit the crap out of the ball. I just have a feeling that Rory's going to have a bounce back
Why is there
tournament.
crap on the ball?
I hate when you keep doing this. You should probably just stop.
Just ignore him.
But Rory's going to, I think, come through and get the win. Scotty's just going to be my second play there.
Are
But
you going to let it all ride?
no, I'm not letting it all
Should I
ride.
pull my-
I got to put some away in some savings. You know, you gotta save some money there. But the other way I'm gonna bet this tournament is how Adam won his money when he bet one of the tournaments, the Genesis Open.
Couple long shots?
Yeah.
Put a couple dark horses?
Well, live bet them. Bet them when they've got like 8-ish holes left.
I'm gonna have to be in Kansas this weekend to do a little live betting because I'll be over at my cozy humble abode with the Reg man and I won't be able to bet anything. So I'm gonna make Reggie get up. We're gonna drive over to the Kansas side and make bets like degenerates.
Take him to your sister's house. You guys can hang out.
No, we will on Sunday. We will be on Sunday. Easter Sunday, Masters Sunday.
Yep.
And on that point, I've got a couple thoughts on my own. John Rahm has been really strong.
That's a good play.
Over the past few months, but honestly, over the past couple of years. John Rahm is certainly going to be a contender. Certainly expect him to show up. One other decent play that I'm going to throw out there is old Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
We'll see how he shows up.
He's won like 3 major tournaments before.
He has.
Yeah.
He has. I'm impressed that you knew that.
Heck yeah.
You've been watching.
Maybe I've been doing some research a little bit.
Yeah, all right. I see you over there. I'll acknowledge that. But I'm going to throw out a long shot as well. My guy might be best dressed as well. Might be the only guy at the Masters showing off a visor. My guy Keith Mitchell.
Keith Mitchell. That's who you won your money off.
Mitchell.
That's who you won your money off of at the Genesis Open.
I want to see it, Keith. Me and my boy Kevin want to see Keith Mitchell get it done. I messaged Kevin. I realized Kevin, our buddy from Jake's bachelor party, who won that money with me when we bet on Keith Mitchell. I messaged him today, or I commented on Keith Mitchell's post and said, Kevin, let's run it back. Let's see our boy do it.
Let's ride.
I realized Kevin doesn't even follow me on Instagram. He follows doesn't follow me.
He for sure does follow
Kevin,
me.
Calling you out. It's a little disrespectful. We won money together. We had a very strong embrace in the middle of the room as we were jumping around as we'd won a lot of money that weekend.
Big bonding
and you can't
experience.
even follow me on Instagram. Kevin Kaba, I think Kaba is how you said you pronounce your last name. I'm calling you out.
I always thought it was Kaba, so glad you corrected me on that one.
I think it's Kaba. I think it's Kaba. Because I think you'd made a point to say it. But Keith Mitchell, Colin Morikawa, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler,
Rory McIlroy.
Those 5 guys. If you want to put some money on any of those 5 guys, we're endorsing it. We're not saying you're going to make money, but we're endorsing it.
Oh, you're going to make money. I'm saying you're going to make money.
Matt, did I say that right?
Yep.
Allegedly.
I'm busy working on my hostile takeover.
I'm sorry.
We like to bring you in every now and then.
Yeah,
You know?
I know you didn't want to get involved at all, so that's when I call you in.
Appreciated.
But moving into baseball, there was a really interesting storyline that I saw this week, and it's something that, to one aspect, we've touched on before on the podcast. I think just once, but I think it's a topic that's worth revisiting, and this is a really good reminder for us with the upcoming baseball season and seeing that people are dealing with things and going through things. Daniel Bard, pitcher for the Colorado Rockies, has made the determination to put himself on the injured list. And the reason he is listed for putting himself on the injured list is anxiety.
Okay.
This is something that I think should be touched on. This is something that, as I get older, pre 30 years old, I heard people talk about anxiety, and I never understood anything of it. I've lived a pretty casual life that nobody really depends on me. It's just me, and my mental health through my first 30 years was pretty good. I can't complain. Not to say that my mental health is bad. I'm not trying to alarm anybody, but as you move forward and, life happens, you get more responsibilities, things change. And I can acknowledge that I've experienced anxiety over the past 24 months, over the past 12 months, over the past 30 days. And hearing somebody that's a professional athlete take a step back from that and say, hey, I need to prioritize myself right now. Like, I'm not doing well. Not only is this going to affect my job, but it could affect me going forward as a person.
Which is good.
I think that's respectable.
I think more people need to learn that they have the ability to do that.
I commend Daniel Bard. I don't want to dig too, obviously he's handling his stuff. He's doing it the right way. He's taking a step back from what he needs to do it. But it was something that at the time I kind of thought about, boy, this is kind of polarizing. This is something we haven't seen. And you mentioned something to me when we were talking earlier.
This is what I was going to say, because you mentioned that he put himself on the IL. I did not realize you could do that with mental health situations like anxiety or depression or things like that. But since
non-physical
in the
stuff,
past 15 years, we've definitely seen a change in perspective on these athletes going through mental health crises and everything like that, and being able to handle those. I mean, you talk about Simone Biles, you talk about some of those other people that
a good example
that have gone through some of these things. And I mean, she took herself out of some tournaments because of some mental health stuff.
And she is the cream of the crop. She's the top.
Right.
She's it.
Yes.
As far as women's gymnastics.
Yes, she is. That's a good example. But what brings me back to baseball is Zach Greinke. I remember back in 2006, Zach Greinke was on a tear. He was like the Royals' golden boy. He was going to be like the starting pitcher, their number one pitcher for the next 10, 15 years.
That was right at what, like his second year in the league, something like that?
Yeah,
second maybe third.
Starting maybe in his third year.
Yeah.
But in 2006, he went to spring training and he had one bad throwing session with, I think it was Royals catcher John Buck at the time. And he decided that, hey, I am not in the right mental headspace to be able to compete at the highest level that I know I can be. So
he yanked himself.
He ended that year. He took that year off. I think they said maybe he came back towards the end of the season. He made like 3 relief appearances, but he did not really play that year at all. But he did not put himself on the IL. So I didn't know like that was something that you could do for mental health reasons.
I think to your point, the stigma has been lifted a little bit with that. Mental health was not a thing 17 years ago.
Right.
The conversation surrounding it, especially around men.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You're just
and I'm not discounting women in mental health at all, and I don't want that to be perceived as such. But there was a stigma around men talking about it.
Just tough it out.
Whether athletes or otherwise. And I think that's... I think you're right, and I don't think Zach Greinke necessarily had that podium or that platform to stand on at the time. Right. I think he kind of had to quietly fade back in the shadows. And I think that's credit to people making it a talking point and making it a topic and making it relevant. So wishing Daniel Bard the best. Thank you for competing for our country in the World Baseball Classic.
He did, yeah.
Wishing you the best of luck in your injury rehabilitation. Hoping to see you back on the field this year. And if not, you know what? You take care of you.
He had one of the best years as a relief pitcher last year. So, like, you want to see him on the field, but he needs to get himself right first.
That's right. That's right.
He needs to put himself first before the Major League Baseball.
That's right. And touching on all these spring sports that we've been talking on over the last couple of weeks, looking into NCAA Women's Tournament, looking into how that finished out yesterday.
Dude, what a crazy tournament. What a crazy championship
game. Have we ever talked about women's basketball more than we have? Like, and I'm not just talking about having a podcast. I'm talking about
just
in culture, in society.
Having women's basketball at the forefront. I mean, that's like one of the main topics right now that's going around social media, going around Twitter, going around TikTok, going around Instagram. Like
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark. She was the star of the show for this NCAA Women's Tournament.
Yep. I mean,
she has been the star of the show for this entire season.
This tournament, this season. But you talk about just in the tournament, 191 points, 60 assists, 32 three-pointers. All of those are single women's NCAA tournament records since the event began in 1982. So, like, you talk about tournament MVP. I know her team did not win the national championship, but I still think she should get, if she did not get women's tournament MVP.
Did she not?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Okay. That was a nice transition. Obviously they face off against LSU in the championship. LSU knocks them off. Kim Mulkey and her team knocked them off. It was a hell of a matchup. We saw a couple of interesting storylines from that matchup. One, we saw Caitlin Clark that we're talking about get a technical for a questionable show up, and I'm going to circle back on that. I don't want to dive into that quite yet.
Okay.
But two things from the LSU side. You got Angel Reese.
You do have Angel Reese.
Angel Reese is getting in the face of Caitlin Clark at the end. She's waving her hand, doing the John Cena, you can't see me, mocking Caitlin Clark, who had done it in the game defeating South Carolina previously.
Yes.
There's a lot, boy, I'm seeing a lot of big sports personalities talking about this right now. Dave Portnoy, Tyreek Hill, number of people talking about this.
I'm not too upset about it.
Okay.
I'm not too upset about it. My reasoning behind that is you're a competitive athlete. You're a competitive athlete on the highest level that you can be on at the level that you're at. You're playing in the national championship game. And you're playing against somebody that's been touted all year. She's been touted, and she has been kind of doing that herself. She's been kind of rubbing.
Seems like a lot of people have, and maybe it's more relevant because it's been more publicized with NIL deals and with other things.
Yeah, but like it just. I think it's okay, and I think it's fine. It's not like she went up there and she was doing something crazy, like doing some real obscene gestures, like flipping her the double bird or anything like that.
Or even a single.
She waved her hand across her face, and she was pointing at her ring finger, saying, hey, we won the championship. The thing that I don't like is that she kind of followed her around the court, stalked her around the court.
She was obsessed with her.
I don't like that part, but the gestures she was making, I don't think were too terrible.
I agree from both standpoints. I think it's interesting, like... I think she maybe went a little bit over the top with following her around. Her entire team was celebrating. It's kind of what I talked about a couple weeks ago with Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
You're going off, and I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm talking about identity of one over team.
Right. Maybe she should have gone and celebrated with her
If I
team.
just won, I want to embrace people, whether it's my family, whether it's my coach, whether it's my teammates. That's number one what I want to do. If I know it's in the bag and I'm at the point where celebration is occurring, I'm not worried about showing off to the person that I beat. Yeah. You know what? Angel Reese, like, you won as a team.
Yep.
And I can't speak to her stats, but I know what Caitlin Clark has done this year. And I know Caitlin Clark has set records as an individual all year. I don't know that she's done that. The one argument I make for that is you celebrate as a team. That's a lot to go after somebody, especially somebody that, for the most part, isn't engaging you. And is doing their best to just respectfully walk away when they know you're following them.
Right. And Caitlin Clark definitely turned a blind eye to that. She did not engage in that at all. And I think that's kind of what made Angel Reese follow her around a little bit. She wasn't getting any engagement.
She wanted
from Caitlin Clark.
She was egging that on.
Yeah, she wanted that sort of engagement. She wanted to see Caitlin Clark get upset about it, and she just didn't. But you know what? Caitlin Clark has another year left. She can go back and win it next year.
She does.
And she can maybe rub it in Angel Reese's face a little bit.
Right. And talking about people getting upset and people making decisions based on emotion, we see the refs. Yep. The refs have been a talking point for a lot of people with regard to this game. And to me, that's interesting because typically when you see people talk about referees, umpires, whatever, with regard towards the outcome of a game, they're typically close games. This game wasn't particularly
too close.
That's still been a talking point. And I think there are a couple interesting talking points there. One, do you see who's the grand marshals of LSU's parade?
Yeah, this doesn't make too much sense to me. The grand marshals of the LSU parade is going to be the refs that reffed that championship basketball game.
What?
So it's like, were they in LSU's back pocket or what was going on?
I don't think they're in LSU's back pocket. But how does, like, whatever governing body that manages the officiants of these games at that level of play, how is there not some clause or something that says you can't be affiliated with teams regardless of win or loss? You can't consort with them. None of that.
No, I 100% agree with that.
That's insane.
They should not be even going to.
They shouldn't even be in the fucking state of Louisiana.
Yeah, they should not be going to that parade at all. But it just, you double it down. When you see that, you brought up Caitlin Clark's technical foul. She basically just threw the ball to the side. She was trying to get the ball out of her way. So
she was frustrated.
She was frustrated. You could definitely tell that.
But she also wasn't trying to keep it from a referee.
She just pushed the ball away to the side so that she could go regroup with her teammates. Right. But then, and so she gets a technical foul for that. But then you look at Kim Mulkey, LSU's head coach, who is all over the court. She's over the court. She's yelling. And I know she's an animated woman. And I know she's a great head coach. But she was all over the court. You're not supposed to be really getting on the court.
She got stiff armed.
She was getting in the face of a referee. The referee had to kind of stiff arm her, and she doesn't get a technical foul for that. But yet Caitlin Clark's getting a technical foul for bumping the ball away.
I think that's ticky-tack bullshit.
So I would be more okay with the Caitlin Clark technical foul had Kim Mulkey gotten a technical as well for the stuff that she was doing.
Maddie, any thoughts?
It was her fourth foul. Like, that's the most impactful foul other than the fifth one that
she had to go
get,
sit
right?
after that. Yeah.
Yeah, she has to take a break. She has to play it easy. She has to change her whole gameplay.
And that is their undebatable best player on their team. That is the best player in all of women's college basketball from game one, literally until the championship.
And basically the refs took it out of her hands.
I was hearing about her before the tournament even started. And I have never, to my recollection, I can't distinguish, with maybe the exception of Diana Taurasi, I can't think of a single other women's basketball player whose name I knew before a tournament started.
Brittany Griner?
I'll give you two. Brittany Griner, Baylor, and Diana Taurasi at UConn.
Yeah.
I'll give you two. Fair question. But it brings up an interesting question, and it leads nicely. It brings up an interesting question surrounding a topic I've heard a lot of people talk about recently, referees, umpires,
people officiating the game who should be non-biased.
Are they walking in with an ego and making it way too much about them?
I want to say no. But most recently, the clips that we've been seeing from not only the women's
it's
championship
not
game,
one sport.
No,
it's not even men or women. It's across the board.
You're seeing it in the NBA. You're seeing it in the MLB. You're seeing it all over the place. Like, I know it's a hard job to be an umpire.
It is.
I've umpired.
I've refereed as well.
Some kids, baseball games and everything, and it's hard. You got parents yelling at you, and I'm sure at the MLB level,
I've refereed grown men. I've seen
level,
dudes that were ready to square up against me.
It can't be a fun job because you got to make the hard calls. But there are some calls that you just don't need to make.
You're right, and especially to Matt's point, there is certainly situational awareness that you have to have with regard towards the importance of the game, the importance of the player, where they're at. I'm not saying that you necessarily don't call it, but you've got to have the awareness. Like, and if you're calling ticky-tack, people are going to ask questions. And we saw something right at the end of spring training with a all-star caliber catcher in JT Realmuto.
Yep.
Getting tossed from a game for a pitch clock violation, questionable play. We'll take a look at it here. And we see this umpire toss him.
What do you do?
And JT's looking at him like, what the hell, man? Like, what just happened? And Rob Thompson's out there immediately, and he's like, okay, who just got tossed and why? The commentators at the time don't even know who the hell got tossed. They couldn't tell if it was Craig Kimbrell. They couldn't tell if it was JT Realmuto. A pitch clock violation happened.
I think you get 20 seconds into this video.
JT Realmuto's asking for a ball. He was unclear if the umpire was throwing the ball back to the pitcher or was giving it back to himself. He had held his catcher's mitt back there for a second, waiting for the ball. He hadn't put it in. He pulled it back. He's very obviously looking directly forward.
In front of him.
He's not like side-eyeing and being like, I'm going to fuck with him. Like,
well, I think there was confusion because I think the ball before this that the umpire had, the umpire threw it himself back to the pitcher.
And,
so
and you see JT Realmuto move back to the dugout. And here's a quick. The umpire calls it for the pitch clock violation. He honestly, if I'm Kimbrell, I'm already annoyed because if I'm mid, and this is going to cause issues, but he chucks it off. Umpire probably looks, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like one thing if it's a miscommunication, but saying I'm tossing you based on that slight infraction.
You have the opportunity as an umpire to give him a warning. Like, give him a warning on that. Hey, from here on out, I'm giving you the ball. You throw it out there. Hold your glove out here. Wait for that ball
Rob
to get in
Thompson
your glove.
can't believe it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What did he even do? Is it just how he caught the ball?
No, he didn't catch the ball. He moved his glove out of the way. So
I'm inclined to say that the way Kimbrell throws the ball off after that maybe irked him, and he felt disrespected, and so he wanted to show I'm big man on campus. Regardless, I don't think there's any way we look at that ejection and say it's not ego-based. And it's not the ref saying, I think a player just disrespected me, and I'm not going to have that on my field.
And he's doing this in a spring training game, a game that doesn't even matter. Like, let the kid play. Like, let JT Realmuto play. Like, it's the end of spring training. Nothing really matters at this point in time. They're just trying to get some reps in. He's probably trying to work with Kimbrell on what pitches they're going to throw and how he's going to react to Kimbrell's.
Two veterans that haven't played with each other before.
Right.
Yeah. Just working out their timing, figuring out logistics.
Exactly. So let the kid play. I mean, I maybe give him a warning, but you probably don't even need to do that in this situation.
Right. Speaking of logistics, you need a guy to coordinate real estate logistics for you? You talk to my guy, Travis Koppel, Platinum Realty, the Jenkins team. He's our sponsor for Mike's Dad Jokes, but he's also your resource if you're looking to do residential real estate in the Kansas or Missouri states. He's certified in both. He loves helping the first responders. He is a first responder himself. He is EMT certified. He has been an EMT for years, but now he's gotten into real estate and he's wanting to help people like-minded like him that are either buying or selling in the Kansas City area or moving to the Kansas City area, moving out of the Kansas City area. You talk to Travis. He's your guy. If you want to talk about cars, he can definitely talk about cars too. He posted a kind of funny post on his personal Facebook page this weekend. Might have been on April Fool's Day, surrounding the recent Bronco that he'd been waiting for a couple years last year. I've known Travis for a number of years, and the Bronco had been on back order, and so he'd been waiting. He finally got it last year, and he posted something about wanting to resort back to a Mustang.
Interesting.
And I saw that this weekend. I said, this feels a little fishy. I don't think he's switching back to a Mustang.
What's wrong with the Bronco?
Nothing wrong with the Bronco. He's sticking with the Bronco.
There we go.
It was a little April Fool's, but you need anything as far as residential real estate in the Kansas City area, both sides of state line. Go see Travis, part of the Jenkins team, Platinum Realty. No pressure, just results. 913-961-7110. I didn't even have to look at it until afterwards. I've got the phone number down now.
Heck yeah.
But Travis, appreciate you as a sponsor, and we're going to hope Mike doesn't let you down here. Let's roll.
I hope I don't either. But thank you, Travis. Thank you, Adam, for that great introduction. But guys, which celebrity is always ready to eat cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Nope.
Reese Witherspoon.
Gosh damn it, Matt.
Damn.
Gave me too long. You should have just cut that long.
It's just Reese Witherspoon, you know?
This man is...
He's on fire.
This man is on... He's been on fire since you started this. No, he looks okay. He just cracked that beer. He's fine.
Anyway, why doesn't James Bond fart in his bed?
Because he's a better man than me.
Because...
Ask any girl I've dated.
It would just blow his cover.
Right off the bed.
Jesus. Stupid. All right. What's the last one?
I tried drag racing the other day.
Oh, God.
Man, it is brutal running those heels.
I thought that's where it was going.
It's real brutal.
How is a USB like an elephant?
Can't flip it upside down.
They both have memory skills.
That's dumb. That's even worse than any of mine.
Memory skills?
Did you read that correctly?
Yeah, that's what it said. Dude,
an elephant's supposed to have a really good memory, I think, is what the gist of that is supposed to be.
Yeah, but USB doesn't have to go to memory. For example, our audio interfaces are connected over USB.
We're getting real technical here.
None of us know that besides you.
It's a poor joke.
Why did the traffic light turn red?
To stop you from getting to the other side. I don't know.
Stop the reading of the jokes when Matt asked for a shorter podcast.
Fuck. It was embarrassed to change in the street. That doesn't make any sense. All right.
It was better than the elephant one.
And now, the interview that we had teased earlier at the beginning of the episode, we are excited to present to you Ricardo and Stephani. And you might have seen Ricardo running out into the outfield at Dodger Stadium on opening night last Thursday, right out into left center field, getting down on one knee, looking out in the stands, and proposing to his now fiance Stephani. And we are so thankful and thrilled that they were willing to join us this week. And Ricardo and Stephani, let's chat. I know we'd talked last night, but I want to welcome you guys. Thanks so much. We're talking to you from the Kansas City area here.
Yeah.
We're excited.
So as far as the people you guys have been talking to so far, has it been news stations? Has it been podcasts? Who all you've been talking to?
We've been doing like radio, podcasts, news. It's been a lot. It's
I bet.
a little,
Puerto Rico.
yeah, Puerto Rico, Dallas. We did Chicago, New York Post, Washington Post, LA Times.
Incredible.
Yeah, we're excited.
Well, we're pretty lucky to be getting you guys on here.
No kidding.
You're a hot commodity.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well,
it's been really.
Well, I want to first off do introductions. My name's Adam. I got Mike with me here. We are There's Always Next to Your podcast, and we're introducing Ricardo and Stephanie, the newly engaged couple. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, do you guys have a date set?
August the 5th.
August the 5th. Fantastic.
Nice.
Is it going to be in Los Angeles?
No, it'll probably be in the Riverside area because that's where we live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, how long have you guys been together?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. And Ricardo, how long you been planning this little event?
Like 2 weeks ago.
No
2 weeks
kidding.
ago. There you go.
So, did you guys just have tickets to opening day, and you were like, "All right, this is the time, this is the place. Let's hammer down."
Yeah, I think we got tickets like a month ago. Maybe my friend, she goes every year. She does like a party bus, and it's like 25 of us, and so we were like, you know what, let's just go. And then so he knew a month ago, right? A month
Yeah,
ago? Like a month ago. Yeah.
So
Very cool.
fantastic. So, Ricardo, how many people did you tell or let in on the secret before you were gonna go ahead with it?
Only, I think el trabajo más, en my job, trabajo solamente y unos amigos tuyos.
He says just his at work, only his coworkers knew.
Okay.
And then when we went to the stadium and he met my friends, because it was just all my friends.
Okay.
He told them. He actually had one of the girls like hide the ring. So when they get you know, when you go into the Dodger Stadium, he said he was afraid
You got
that
the
they
metal
were gonna,
detector. You got to be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
I've smuggled a few things into baseball games, so I get it. Most of them have been flasks. Most of them have had like whiskey in them. But I can appreciate smuggling something through security, so I get it. And then as far as like getting on the field, where did you enter the field from, and what did that look like?
Was it donde estábamos sentados abajo? ¿Te fuiste?
Sí, estamos ahí en el lugar donde estamos y me acerqué hasta abajo nomás y de ahí me brinqué.
We were sitting on the lower left pavilion. So he said that he just went all the way down and he just jumped.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how far did he jump from like where the wall was? Was it like 6-7 feet?
Like 7 feet, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That's a little bit of a leap.
That's pretty high.
Brinqué uno primero chico, the 5, y el otro era más grande.
Oh, he said he jumped 2 barriers. So
Well,
Wow. That's commitment.
yeah, he dropped a guy's beer on the way down, and I guess the guy was like, "Hey, you need to buy me
Yeah,
my beer." And he's like, "Dude, I'll get you right now. I'm gonna do something for you." And he had to show the guy like the ring so he could just leave him alone.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
So
He almost got that before he did this. No, just
Pero no lo tenía pensado hacerlo brincar, solo lo iba a hacer como en las gradas ahí.
Oh, he says he didn't think he was gonna do that. His intentions, like his first planning, were to do it on the bench.
okay.
But I think he got a little excited, you know. We had a fun drive over there.
Hey, nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. A little liquid courage.
That's what I was going to say. Liquid courage.
Mike and I have been there before. We get that. We've
100%.
rode a party bus or two. Opening day only happens once a year. I've only been to one opening day in my life, but it was a hell of a time.
Yeah.
It was actually right when I turned 21.
I actually told him, like, I've never been on a party bus. Like, I don't drink. How much fun can we actually have? But as soon as I got there, my friends, they made sure I drank.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So happy.
I was really drunk when I got to that.
Dance and
Yeah.
drink tequila chat. Like,
Oh,
Everybody's
yeah.
like, what happened?
That'll get you going.
All right, a little tequila. I like it. And then as far as once you got on the field, once you're kneeling down, Ricardo, did you know those security cards were coming? Did any idea about that, or you were just in the moment, you were looking at Stephanie?
yeah, I'm looking for Stephanie. And I no see the security. Nunca lo miré.
No. He said he was just focused on trying to find me.
Well, so after the security guards came and hit you, like, how sore were you after taking that massive hit by those security guards? I mean, they came over and they hit you pretty hard.
Yeah, he was fine, but then Saturday, huh?
Saturday, oh, I can move my body. No me podía mover
Oh
como
my
estaba.
goodness.
He's actually like in the gym every day. He's like real like wow, you know, he never complains. He never gets sick. So when I seen him like not getting out of bed and he was like shaking, I was like, "Oh no, I have to take you to the hospital." I
Oh
was
my
like,
Yeah.
goodness.
I bet.
Yeah.
Are you feeling sorry, go ahead, Stephanie.
They said he didn't have any broken bones and they gave him a shot. So that helped him, right?
Ponle que es el impacto y me voy a estar como dolorido, nomás es lo que estoy ahorita.
He said it's just the impact the doctor said, and he's just going to be real sore all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that continues to improve for you. Yeah, you took a hell of a hit.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But for a good reason. For a good reason.
It was worth it, I'm sure.
I'm sure Stephanie agrees. Stephanie, let's get a look at that ring real quick.
I don't have it.
Oh no! I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Told me before we came to Riverside also because we came to do some pictures, and he's like, Stephanie, where's the ring? And I was like, I was cleaning this morning and it doesn't fit yet. That's why I've had it on the other hand.
No worries. No worries. That's how it goes, especially when it's a true surprise. That's all right.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose it. Like while I was cleaning, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, you know, kind of once you get there, Ricardo, did you say you were going to get popcorn? Stephanie, did you anticipate anything was going on? Like, how did the lead up go?
I've been wanting this guy to marry me forever.
Okay.
And he's always like, dude, you're in school. I'm like the sole provider of the house. Like, I cannot afford to marry you. Like, you're crazy. So I never in my life thought he like went behind my back and got a ring, you know. He figured it out and he was gonna propose to me. Like I had no clue, like at all. Like not even the smallest hint, nothing. I had no clue.
Nice work, Ricardo.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it.
Very true surprise.
I'm terrible at keeping a secret. I'm very, very bad at it. So kudos to you, my friend. So follow-up question. I know you said Ricardo, that you were pretty limited with who you talked to about your plans for the proposal. Was there anybody that was like, hey man, like, or was it just like right there in the moment? Like, I'm doing this. Nobody knew anything. So you were going in full head of steam.
I literally almost missed it all because I was coming back from the bathroom.
Oh wow.
Gosh.
¿Quieres que te acompañe al baño?
Yeah, I was. He wants me to tell you that I was gonna go to the bathroom and I was like, "Can you go to the bathroom with me?" And he's like, "No, tell your friend to go." And I was like, "What?" Like I was. Why are you not taking me to the bathroom right now? So then I was like, "Okay, come on, Kenya, come with me." And then she takes me, and on the way back, he's like, he keeps calling me, and I'm like, "What do you want?" You know, and I can't hear him. I can't understand what he's saying, and he keeps telling me like, "Hey, you're gonna be on TV or you're gonna be something," and I'm just like annoyed because I don't understand what he's saying. And I'm like calling me and I'm not even sat like down yet on the bench and I hear everybody yelling and then I turn around and he just gets hit. Like we barely see it, like barely caught it. And then we were like, everybody was shocked. Nobody knew. None of my friends had their phones out. Like we didn't know because he says that he just got overly excited and all my friends said, what the heck? Like he said he was gonna do it here. We would have told him not to do that.
Hey, when it's right, it's right.
Right.
I love it. And the good news is, you know, hindsight being 2020, I don't think you guys are short on footage of the proposal. I can't go through my social media feed without seeing Ricardo right now. So you should have ample footage to remember the occasion for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's talk about the aftermath a little bit, Ricardo. So, like, I think I read somewhere that you had there's a 1-year ban from the stadium now. Are there any other, I guess, subsequent consequences? Was there like any criminal citations or charges or anything like that has occurred from this?
He says that they like made him sign a paper, but obviously, like he was so worried about where the ring was. I don't even know where he left that paper.
Okay.
So we got to figure out how to look that up.
I'm sure you could find somebody that'd be happy to help you with that. And I think grand scheme of things, I'd like to think that the Dodgers are pretty lenient. He wasn't causing anybody too much trouble. And it looked like you did it before an inning was starting, right? It wasn't even in the middle of play. They were doing warm-ups pre-inning, right?
I think they were doing warm-ups. I'm not too sure.
It looked like there was the outfielder that you were close to was playing catch at the time.
Warming up.
No, estaba jugando, ¿verdad? No, it was like seventh ending, maybe the end of seventh ending. I don't
No,
know.
sí están jugando.
¿Estaban jugando?
Yeah,
No, he said
ya
they were playing.
because estaba el jugador está haciendo ya como play-ins.
Okay. He says he thinks they were playing.
Oh, okay.
It was a first night. To be
Okay.
honest with you.
Yeah, opening night. No better time.
Right.
Well, the last question I ask is, you said, is it August 5th? Is that when you said it is? Are you guys looking for a bartender?
Oh boy.
Come on down. We're inviting everybody. All the news people said they were coming.
If you need a bartender, I bartend private events and weddings all the time. I've done it before. I'd be happy to come out.
Yes. Oh my God. We just had a radio show in Dallas. Blake something. Sorry. He said he's coming too. So all of you guys are coming.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
I'm in. We'll bring the crew. We'll make a trip out of it.
Okay, you guys promise.
We're in. Well, guys, Stephani, Ricardo, thank you guys so much for taking a little bit of time to talk. So excited for you guys and your upcoming marriage. Excited for all the fun you've had this week and wishing you nothing but success. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon, but thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Stephani and Ricardo, for coming on again. It sounds like we're going to be making some plans to head out to Cali here come the first weekend in August.
TANY trip.
Thank you for having one of the best interviews we've done yet. So
I'd say the best
interview we've done yet. But speaking about Kansas City, not California, we have the NFL draft coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And guess what? April 27th through April 29th, the NFL draft will be right in front of Union Station, right by the World War I Memorial and Museum. Anyone who is hoping to try to get into the event needs to get their free access. You got to register for your free access by downloading the NFL One Pass app, or you can go to nfl.com/draft access, sign up for an nfl.com account, get your free QR code that gets you into the event there. The draft experience is going to be amazing this year. They're going to have people taking interviews, people doing, there's going to be interactive exhibits, and former and current NFL players doing autograph sessions that you may have to stand in a little bit of a line for. But believe me, if Eli Manning is there doing an autograph, I'm taking my Eli Manning jersey out there and getting that autographed. I'm going to stand in however long of a line I need to, because I cannot wait to get his autograph, frame that jersey, and put it up on the wall right here behind us. So don't miss the NFL draft coming up here April 27th through the 29th.
NFL, we're still waiting for those press passes. We're keeping an eye on the mail.
We're probably going to be talking about this here in the next couple of weeks, maybe digging into what we think our teams are going to be picking. So stay tuned for that as well.
But now, you know what time it is. It's time for Matt's Hostile Takeover.
And Matt's Hostile Takeover is sponsored by Extreme Pool Renovation and Construction by Jerry Downs. Jerry Downs is a master craftsman. He and his team have been renovating and creating unique and pool designs in the Midwest for many years. The attention to detail and the level of customer service are second to none. Jerry and his team will come through for you like no one else. Ask Jerry about the other services he can provide too. Extreme Pool and Renovation and Construction, when good enough is not good enough. Give Jerry a call at 816-738-3118 or reach out with an email at extremepoolsbyjerry@yahoo.com.
Today, NASA announced the flight lists for the crew for their next manned mission to the moon.
Let's go.
To the moon!
How many people we got going?
4 people.
Okay.
Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Hammock Koch, Jeremy Hansen. They're all very well experienced. Yeah.
Veteran astronauts.
Yes.
I feel like I've heard of Jeremy Hansen before.
None of these will be their first time in space, I do believe. But so this is the Artemis II mission. It's the first time we've been to the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972.
What?
Yeah.
50 years?
50 years.
Yeah, they cut the Apollo program down.
I figured since we'd done it in 1969, it was just a regular occurrence at this point. We
went to the moon.
Thank you, Michael.
1969.
Okay, continue.
So this is Artemis 2. So you might be wondering what happened to Artemis 1. Well,
Should we ask?
That was an unmanned mission,
Okay.
successful last November, December time frame to make sure we could put people on it.
Well, did we put a rover up there in between 70 whatever and now? Because we've gone to the moon. We just put like rovers out there, though,
Yes,
right?
correct. So this is the first manned mission to the moon. And to be fair, this mission, they're only going to orbit the moon. They're not landing on it. Artemis 3 will land on the moon. But part of their mission is a 10-day flight. It's scheduled for November of 2024.
Okay. This is Artemis 2 is November 2024?
Yep.
Okay.
10-day flight. But as part of the Artemis program, they're working towards building the Lunar Gateway, which is the first space station outside of low Earth orbit.
Outside of our orbit.
It's going to be orbiting the moon. So
is this going to be something where like we can fly to the moon, we can have a space station on the moon, and then they can fly to Mars? Is that what we're trying to do here?
that's exactly what it is. It's going to be a staging point both for robotic and crewed missions to kind of checkpoint in and then go on and explore space deeper. And ultimately to eventually support a permanent base on the moon.
Did this all come about because of Space Force? Like they're trying to get back into, I guess, like the whole space exploration
become a space powerhouse once again alongside Russia and China and whomever else.
There has seemingly been like a lull of space exploration. I mean, we're sending tons of rovers, but we kind of, after we landed on the moon, we kind of said, Mars is so far out of reach, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, there's been this lull, and there has been. I feel like honestly, part of it is part of the Andy Weir book, like the Martian, and the movie and Interstellar. Like honestly, like you kind of need the public's buy-in. Are you laughing at my movie suggestions or the dog bowl?
At the dog bowl.
I'm like, am I that?
No. You're on point. I'm actually very engaged, but I just heard that spoon spill.
Yeah. So Artemis and the Lunar Gateway is a project with Europe, Japan, Canada, and the United States. Yeah, we're going back to the moon.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Just quick question on that. You say Europe, Japan, Canada. Is that just like Europe as a continent? They're just kind of...
Yeah, so their space program is like a united front, sort of like the European Union.
I'm realizing that I am obviously the less knowledgeable man in the room as far as like Mike's asking questions here that I do not know to ask. So I've got to bone up on my space knowledge a little bit because
I just think exploring space is super cool.
I'm not trying to discount it or demean it by any means. I'm not arguing with you on that front. But I'm not knowledgeable about it at all.
We talked about it in our podcast. Would you rather go up in space or go down to the bottom of the ocean? And I was like, I'm for sure going up into space.
Oh, I agreed, but I was scared shitless of both.
Yeah, I just don't want to be at the bottom of the ocean and not be able to breathe.
But the very same thing could happen in space, hypothetically, if something goes wrong. If something goes right with both, you're not suffocating with either, hypothetically. But, sorry, that's an entirely different conversation.
Yeah, you want no pressure or absolute pressure.
But I agree with you.
I no pressure.
I just don't know anything about...
Just results. No pressure, just results.
Travis Koppel, Jenkins team, Platinum Realty. Sorry, this isn't your segment.
No.
That was nice.
Wrong segment.
That was nice. No, but I don't know anything about space exploration, and I appreciate that Matt continues to bring light to certain storylines that I'll be honest, don't come across the desk of O'Neal,
Right.
for lack of a better term.
He makes us smarter for sure, 100%.
Oh, that's a
takeover,
low bar for
every
me.
hostile
So yeah,
takeover gets us a little bit smarter.
I got a couple little things to add while I'm at it. So Russia and China not included in this program, not
Wonder
included
why.
in this effort. I believe both of them have been included in the International Space Station. Adam's mouthing some naughty words, I think. For all you lip-reading sleuths, have at it.
Hey, that's better than me shouting it, all right? I'm trying to be more behaved. I just looked at Mike and hoped they couldn't see me. Continue.
But one thing that's interesting, this lunar gateway is going to be tiny compared to the International Space Station. You will not be able to stand up in this lunar gateway.
So you just got to crawl around like on all fours or what?
Yeah, so I don't
What?
imagine people staying there long, which
I was going to say, are we going to house people there?
how's it
Or are
gonna be
people going to,
maintained?
reside there?
I feel like someone has to reside there because it's got to be
Doesn't
maintained.
the International Space Station have, capability to reside for multiple days?
People live
Yes.
in that, yeah.
Yeah.
yes, which several of the crew members, if not all of them, have been up there in the
Okay.
International Space Station.
Well, maybe that's a step-by-step thing. Maybe, but I don't understand why we make them crawl around.
I think it's supposed to be more of a checkpoint staging location. Like
you get
your
there-
spaceship would dock to it, and you probably wouldn't get off your spaceship.
That makes sense.
on
So
it
you'd get there
unless you needed to.
you'd dock up, you'd refuel, and then within a day or so, you're going out to wherever you need to go to.
And my guess would be it's going to support way more robotic operations, automatic. I mean, that's
Than
the
human.
future of everything.
Okay,
yeah.
I follow you.
So that's how they're going to maintain it with robotic stuff.
Okay, yeah. All right.
That's pretty sweet, though. I mean, I've always wanted
It's
us
progress.
to land some people on Mars, and hey, this is the first step for that happening in our lifetime.
It's
so
your people.
Well, Elon Musk talked so much about landing on Mars, and then he bought Twitter, and everyone forgot all this
Dude.
bullshit about Mars.
Speaking of Twitter, we might not have an account here in the next couple of weeks or whenever that's going down.
We're definitely not going to have a blue check.
We're not paying.
Let me be very
We
clear.
ain't paying.
We aren't going to have a blue check.
No taxation without representation.
Oh boy, there's the double birds I was
Yeah,
talking
there's
about
the
earlier.
double birds, Elon. You can have that.
Here's tweet number 1 and tweet number 2.
Tweet, mother. All right.
Oh, Lord.
And you know what? I think that's a good. Did you have any other talking points, Matthew?
That was it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Another fascinating. I'm gonna probably dig into this a little bit more and learn a little bit more about what NASA's up to. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us. We've been having a lot more fun, I feel like, with what we're trying to bring to you guys. We're working on a lot of new ideas. We're going to continue to morph a little bit. But thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the interview this week. We want to bring more content that's keeping people on the edge of their seat, keeping people on hot topics within the media. But in the meantime, social media. We're back on TikTok.
No, we're not.
We're going to start. We're not. Okay.
We got banned on TikTok, so
And Adam made a stupid name.
Sick of the disrespect.
what's the TikTok name?
No. Skip.
God damn it.
You haven't posted anything. Why would you shout out something? We haven't posted nothing.
All right, fine. Mike didn't post anything for 6 fucking months, and he still talked about the TikTok.
Yeah, we didn't give a name.
Didn't give an email either. Instagram. There's always next year pod. Facebook. There's always next year. Twitter. TANY_pod.
You know what
YouTube.
You know what I just realized?
Spotify. Apple.
This is why
Google.
people don't finish the end of the podcast. It's just us going "Nah," and naming every social media platform at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
We should do it at the
They
beginning. of the
stop.
podcast.
They stop right here when I start saying this. You're right.
Of the 3 listeners, yeah,
damn
all 3 of them do. I think
Well,
so.
that's fine. I'll let them. If they're staying till the end, God bless you either way.
Yeah,
God bless
they didn't make it
America.
here. They didn't make it here. They're gone.
Yeah,
Everyone's
well,
gone.
if you made it till 5 minutes ago, still God bless you. But in the meantime, remember one thing, my friends.
Don't forget, there's always next year.
If I say remember one thing, you don't have to say don't forget.
Well, let's ride anyway.
Saddle up. We record on a Thursday. I tell you what, I'll light it up. I'll light the fuse.